Call this meeting of City Council to order January 19th, 2021 here at the Stafford County Annex. Have an addition to the agenda, land bank appointments. Are there any other additions to the agenda? I'd entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion approved. Citizens' comments. Are there any citizens' comments this evening? Moving on. Consent agenda. Approved minutes. Regular council meeting, January 5th, 2021.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Appropriation ordinance 12/31/2020 in the amount of $12,910.30.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Appropriation ordinance 1/19/2021, the amount of $43,323.93.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Appropriation ordinance petty cash in the amount of $190.85.
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second on the table. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Okay, department heads. Electric department, Jeff.
I really only just have one thing. I want to upgrade the oil filter system for the keep warm pump on the number 5 engine at the plant. We went to change the filters on it, and I've changed them many times before, but they're 1960 vintage, and the filters I can buy, but the gaskets I cannot. I called around to several power plants that have the same type of system that we have, and 2 of them are changing them out because we can't find the gaskets for them. They're only there when we keep that engine warm, but we run it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's filtered in a crankcase all the time. And I want to upgrade it to one that mounts on the wall that's got spin type filters on it. We can see the pressure on it when they're due. We pop them in the bottom, drain them out, change them, and go right back on. So it's $2,200 for the body. The filters are about $50 a piece, which is about what I pay for the others. It only takes half as many. The other one has a bank of 6 with 2 filters in it a piece. So it'd be way easier for them to keep their eyes on and change. They'll get changed more often than what they did. So anyway.
What engine is that for, Jeff?
For that big engine, for the number 5 engine, for the OP. The system, those brown filters that you saw in those pictures, it's not a very good system anyway. The piping for the in and out are about this far apart and they run straight through the tank. So I really don't know how good of a job it was doing filtering before. It was designed by Fairbanks years ago, but everybody else has pitched them out. So the gaskets on the top where they bolt down are lead, and that's probably half the reason why you can't find them, I'm guessing. So
Can we do that ourselves, Jeff, or we gotta have somebody come out there? I mean, how complicated is that, converting that?
what's that?
Switching this filter system?
I'm going to switch it.
I mean, it's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's just the body. The body's $2,200.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've got most of it plumbed, in fact.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a new heater that we bought for that engine 2 years ago. We've never been able to put it in. We haven't had the time. Well, now we've had some nasty days, windy days, and so we've been down there. We've got it all changed over. We're ready to put them filters on, then we'll kick it right back on. So, yeah, we're going to do it. I've got it all piped up except for about this far. So, take about a week to get it. We'll get it probably in the afternoon and put it in, and we'll fire it back up. So.
Sounds like we need it. I'd make a motion to approve the filter upgrade for the number 5 engine at $2,200.
Second.
I have a motion and a second on the table. Any more discussion? All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries.
The only other thing we got going on is we're still having a little dance with the big compressor. We started out, and Brian will probably relate to this more than you other guys will. Over the years, they've changed the amperage ratings on some of the motors, and this compressor, it being new, basically new and put back together, it's pulling harder than it was. And a 15 horse motor won't turn it, so we bought a 20. We traded with them. I think it cost us about $600 to trade. And now we find out that the wiring going into the main panel is half the size it needs to be. So it's just been one deal right after another, but we're going to get it whipped, but it's just taking a little time. But anyway, that's the only other thing we really got going on. We're still working on the pole line west of town. In fact, we set a dead end pole out there today. We do it on the days that the wind's down. And we'll get another one set maybe Thursday. Be ready to cut that over. We'll have to do it hot. Either that or we'll kill that line out for a half a day. So we'll debate the deals and see how well it comes out so that we make it safe. But we think we can cut it over hot. So anyway.
All right. Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for Jeff? Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Moving on, Water Department, Jason.
I don't have anything.
Okay, anybody have any questions and comments and concerns for Jason under Water Department? Okay, Street and Park Department.
Oh, just, right now we're starting our crack filling and working on that as wind allows us because, of course, the flame will blow out with the wind. And doing some ditch work. And thinking about this week, I'm going to try to set some culverts out for the truck park.
Anything else?
That'll do it.
Okay, anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for Jason under Street and Parks?
On that, I guess I should have saw that, or I should ask this on the water, but you need permission to send in the other number 5 lift station. Was that on?
That's the one we done, I think.
Okay. It was just-
Yeah, out there by
that's
the
one that's-
grocery store?
Okay,
Yeah,
we already did that.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry about that. That's why I thought it was done or it's not finished on that or something. Just letting you know.
Said other.
Got to say, I should have put
the third
the
one
in
in, no matter what.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, moving on, Police Chief, Chief Adams. Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for Chief Adams? Okay, Fire Chief, Chief Sanders.
I don't have anything.
Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for Chief Adams? Excuse me, Chief Sanders. Okay. City Administrator, Jamie.
I don't have anything.
Whoa, okay. Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for Jamie?
Did you get a hold of those 2 people on the property code violations on giving them the?
Yeah, I emailed the one and then sent the other one in the mail.
All right, anything else? All right, moving on to City Attorney, John.
The only thing I've got is I'm running a draft ordinance by PD to revamp how we deal with dogs at large, and some other dog issues that seem to be clogging our municipal court. And as soon as they've reviewed, Jamie's reviewed, I'll get that to council to review.
Okay. Anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns for John? Okay, moving on to old business. Is there anything on old business that council would like to discuss this evening?
Any word on the old sewer machine?
Just that he started, but I wasn't able to get a hold of anyone for him to, he doesn't, like, he's not a full-time mechanic. He goes and does other things and does that on the side. So I know Jeff talked to him the other day and he was about to
Yeah, he was
pull
down
him.
here and I just forgot to ask him. I really did, and I apologize. I know it was going in the shop the other day, but after that I haven't heard.
I should, if when I hear something back, I'll put the email out, but she wasn't aware when I called earlier, so.
Anything else under old business we'd like to discuss?
What about the engine for the power plant?
I don't know, I think it'll flow, it'll fund, and I guess it's just a matter of commitment, I guess. It's a 60-some year upgrade that needs to happen, but it'll cash flow, that's undeniable, that was my main concern.
Right.
I did talk to, I've been trying to find all of the information that I can, and it's a little bit difficult on my end, but I did talk to the city of Johnson today, and that is, if you remember the YouTube video that I sent you guys, he called and just, I kind of picked his brain on, you know, we're kind of back and forth, you know, we have this savings, and, you know, he understands, you know, the employees, the generation of knowing the power plant is dwindling all over. It's not just us, but us having that cash flow that we're saving, and then the negotiating power in the future, because they do have a contract with their electric provider. They, I think, go through Sunflower, and they, I think they get paid, I think he said $2 a kilowatt back, so it's like $12,000 a month that they're seeing back because of the generation that the city provides to the company. Is that sound?
Possible, some of the contracts are that way, yeah.
So, I mean, I just kind of shot him a few of our concerns, and he said he understood, and he said, you know, it's going to be a good investment, because, you know, I tried to take it even to the way of, you know, we don't generate all the time, and, you know, he said we spent X amount of dollars for a backup power plant as well. Like, it's a brand new one. That's the one with the old power plant is pretty much their museum now. So it's definitely something, when we don't have it, is going to be, you know, it might be 10 years down the road, but when we don't have it, that's when we'll see the issues. And that's kind of what he confirmed.
I just think we've been discussing it for almost over a month now, and I mean, I think everybody's had some answers to the questions. I just think we need to probably either do something or kick it out and not do something. I mean, it's, instead of just leaving it sit on the agenda, I mean, we either take action or take it off, be done.
I'm not voting for it today. I mean, I was supposed to get with Jeff yesterday, and I was gonna get with Jamie to get more informed on it, so I'm upfront with you guys that I'm not voting for it tonight. I'll abstain if you guys choose to, but it does completely, the cash flow makes sense. That part makes sense to me.
I'm assuming that there will be a resolution the bonding company's preparing that needs to be voted on.
That's the way I understood it, was
It's,
if we decided to move forward, the bond company would have a resolution to us to approve.
To me, that would be the time to vote on it. I mean, I guess staff
But
can be
we've never
directed.
really given the okay to go forward and get that stuff, and that's, I guess that's what I'm saying, is we need to take the steps to put it in motion.
Do we need a motion to allow me to move forward on it?
I don't, I mean, we just need a directive. I don't think we need a motion, but at one point, council talked about having them back in. There was some discrepancy related to the interest rate.
We've already discussed that with the owners
We did that at the
at our special meeting.
So basically, we just need a consensus, John?
If you're just directing her to visit with bond counsel preparing that resolution.
Okay, so, Kyle, Ryan?
Question I had, Jeff, you can probably answer this. The Fairbanks is the one we're also going to use with these two Caterpillars, right? So how easy is it going to be able to put the Fairbanks online with these two cats?
It'll be a whole lot easier if you do it the way that Mike laid it out, because it'll have electronic governor and it'll have to match the panel board in order to be able to close the breaker. So it's just a matter of getting it started. Once you get it started, why, it'll be easy. It'll be as easy as putting the Caterpillars on.
Okay, so it's gonna make it, the Fairbanks a lot easier to turn on.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was just wondering, with the age of the Fairbanks, if it would be better to, this new cat, for it to be bigger, just in case for the years to come.
We sized it, the reason we sized it the way we did is because between that big cat and that OP, it could run your maximum peak on any given day, like in the summertime when you go to 3,400. But we also made it so that in the wintertime, if your load got above 1,300, then you could run that cat, because it'll run at 60 or 70% easier, and it's easier on it to run that way than it is at Fairbanks. So it's kind of a multiple deal that you could run either one of them or a pair of them in the wintertime. Or if you went from a black start, they're set up to where you set a percentage of load on each one of them. So when you close your breakers, you don't get the blinks on the lights. You can close them instantaneous, and then you can back one of them off. I mean, there's several different ways to do it.
Right.
But it's way more efficient to put the electronic governor on that OP, because it'll get better fuel than what it does now too. So the way it is now, it has a mechanical governor on it. It's a very slow reacting governor. It's a flyweight governor. And so like in the summertime when the load's heavy and you lose your power in the middle of the summer and you close those breakers, it will react faster and pick up load faster than what it does now on a mechanical. So the conversion to that does two things. It makes it easier to pick up your load, but it also makes it easier for the operators to put it back on. So it's just a matter of getting it started. I think most of these guys can start it now. It's not the starting it they have the problem with, it's the panel board.
Put it online.
Yeah. Because matching them is the tough part. It's not getting it on there, it's getting it to stay on there.
I'm just trying to think forward in 10 years or whenever we do a new contract with Midwest Energy, we're gonna have that Fairbanks, it's gonna be reliable enough.
Sure.
To run, to get possibly a better contract.
It probably doesn't have enough hours on it now to hardly be broke in if you ran it every day. I mean, even as old as it is, we ran it full load for about 15 years in the summertime, 70 days. So it's got, I can't remember for sure, 1,480 or 90 hours on it, I think is what it's got. So really, you know, time-wise, if you ran it 24 hours a day, it's really not that many hours on it. And you know, if you can load it up, it runs way more efficient if it's loaded at 80 or 90%, where the Caterpillars don't really care. They have the flexibility that that engine doesn't have. It's a two-cycle, and so it throws oil if you don't get it loaded up. So
this Cooper pretty much will be.
I'm having a hard time finding parts.
Right.
You know, I've got some pieces laying on my desk that in fact, I was going to call a guy tomorrow, and whether I find out anything from him or not, I don't know. You know, it's just, but trying to start it is a whole nother ballgame. I mean, it's different than anything down there too. So, you know, if we don't, you really haven't, you've gotten about 3 million hours out of it. It ran from 64 to 77 almost nonstop until they got the tie in late 77. So, you know, it's not like it hasn't paid its way.
Right.
It just is getting really tough to find parts for.
Right.
60 years old or close to it. So, but it probably will help your contract, but it will also, it gives you the buying power to be able to negotiate that contract. You know, like we did this last time, we cut 24% off of what you had because we could push what we did, but we're at the point where we either need to put something with it, or we're going to have to keep buying a half a meg, and then maybe it'll be a meg after that, and then the cost is just going to keep going up on the other end. Where this way you won't have to do that. So that's the best I can tell you.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, council, what do you want to do?
I'm ready to move forward.
Yeah, I'm fine with at least till we get the bond information.
Be good,
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
fine, I mean,
Ross?
what we can fund.
Yeah, it'll get us hard numbers where we can physically know where we're capable of locking it in at.
Agreed.
I hope we're surprised compared to what the numbers they gave us with. I think we should be.
Yeah, I think we should too. There's no doubt, like Ross said, we can fund it, but just want to make sure. Isn't
Okay,
it,
Jamie,
Rich?
go ahead. Get that taken care of if you would, please.
Yep.
All right, is there anything else under old business we'd like to discuss before we move on to new business? Okay, moving on to new business, economic development.
In a nutshell, the house on 7th and Broadway, correct? The 8th? 8th and Broadway, the K-State house that Economic Development was building, or K-State was building it. The funding is not there because K-State was not able to finish it because of COVID. Carolyn thought that she had funding to be able to take care of it, and that ended up not working out. So she has come to Kyle. She actually went and spoke with Kyle a little bit to ask if the city would be interested in providing some financial support to be able to get that project completed. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but Kyle said, we're looking at a pretty large project for the power plant right now. I just don't know if we're in that position, but he said we could definitely bring it to council and let you guys make that decision, so.
Any idea what she's wanting?
I think you guys talked about.
I think she would, take any amount just to help. I think she's gonna be short 20 to 25,000, because it sounded like she's gonna have to hire a contractor to finish it, where the K-State people were supposed to finish it. They're not gonna come like they were originally planned to. I told her kind of front that with this power plant thing, I just think it's a lot for us to have on our plate, and I didn't know if we could do anything, but I told her to bring it up, so.
I guess before I ever even made the decision or thought about it, I'd want to see what kind of investment she had in this whole project, what it was expected to be, what her budget was for it. We've given her 2 properties to build houses on almost a year and a half ago, and I've never seen anything out of that, other than we mow and maintain them. As far as I'm concerned, until she can show us some proof of her budgeting or what she was expected to spend on it, and that she doesn't have any money, I'm not giving them any money.
I think she has some projects lined out for that. I think the money maybe is just tied up and she can't force it into this project, but.
That's still not my problem.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying that I don't think the city needs to be quite involved with that is my take on it, but, I think it needs to be finished, but whether we should get tied up in it, I don't.
I think our number one priority should be the engine. That should be our priority.
Well,
right now.
and I think we actually have money, we could do it, but just to blatantly say, can you give me money and not
Right.
provide anything? I'm not giving anybody
And
money.
she offered to come,
Right.
she would come, I think, if we wanted her to. I just said, I told her we'd bring it up, talk about if we want her to come, if we want more information, or if we just wanna.
I think that's a slippery slope on what that opens us up for, sets precedent for the
Yeah.
MIPA
Sure.
project.
I agree.
That somebody brings in that they think's important in helping our town, and the only way to avoid it is to stay clear away from it. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
That will open a can of worms you can't put the lid
Yeah.
back on.
But like I said, we've already designated 2 properties,
Right.
and we haven't seen anything come of it.
Yeah, we're on board with helping. We
Yeah.
got our 2 properties, cleaned them up. We're on board with helping, but physically, financially cutting a check, I don't think there's anything good come out of that.
Okay.
She'd have to solicit some funding elsewhere as far as I go.
Yep.
It just got hands tied to too many other things. It's not really in our realm of what we're here for, so.
Okay, any more discussion? All right, moving on to Ohio Township.
So Ohio Township is requesting to be able to put some of their road material down where we put ours, south of Lamoureux, right? Yeah. So that'd be like Rusty, and he does our roads, so we didn't think it'd be a big deal, but wanted to make sure it was okay with you guys, and
You guys have room down there,
You
Jeff?
have plenty of room.
We look kinda tight. Just throw it on Davis.
Put it south of the power plant, we'll spread it out.
Yeah, it kinda seems tight. I mean, what do you think, Jeff?
Well, I got a pole I need to take out of that corner the way it is. The trucks are a little rough on that light pole on the corner, but, you know, when we had chat and stuff in there, I mean, it was pretty cozy. And we've still got quite a bit of material down there, Jason does, so, you know.
Where you put it? I mean, I wanna work with him because he's taking care of our roads.
Put it on that lot south of the plant. I mean, down there where the dumpster and stuff is.
Plenty of area down there south of the plant. That's a
Sure.
big open lot, there's
Yeah.
nothing there. Just
We'll
like
spread
spots
out what they
on
don't
those
use.
spots.
This isn't necessarily for the roads that they're maintaining in town, just kind of what they use on the roads,
Right.
yeah. Well,
I think it's easier for them because their truck and everything's right over there by their shop.
Well, south of the plant, there's a way in and out there where they can drive, you know, even if they drop them off the bellies on the semi, they got room to drop them, so.
We won't have any liability on that, will we, John?
Well, I mean, my first thought is there things that they can hit with the truck and then use a light pole.
There's nothing out there they can hit.
Not south of the plant.
Nothing at all.
Wide open lot.
Dumpster.
well, I don't know, the pole by the dumpster, or our sign.
Yeah, well, they would get no cherry there, it's been hit already once.
One minivan could take it back.
I'm fine with it if we can find a
Yeah,
place down there.
yeah. Yeah,
like I
that's
said, they you guys help us
Okay.
out. Yeah.
We can flag it off or mark it off where you want them to put it.
I
You
mean,
guys
there's a whole half a block here, he can dump it about anywhere he wants to.
All right, good. All right, moving on, KMEA directors.
So it's that time of year again, and I need Director 1, Director 2, and an alternate. Not everyone at once. It's a 2-year term. Have you ever had to do anything?
No.
Okay, do you want to be one again?
I've never done anything, I voted on several things, but that's it.
So, do you want back on there too?
I don't care.
All right, who wants to be my alternate?
Usually me in May, and then sometimes in the fall, why, you know, we've had some cities come in, and now part of the deal too is, for some of you that maybe not put two and two together, is that we do this engine deal that Mike, Mid-States, this company is now part of KMEA, so you're a voting member voting on your stuff along with everybody else's stuff too, so, you know, makes you part of what goes on there, so.
Thanks for taking the plunge, Kyle. Appreciate it.
Okay, and the last thing under new business is land bank appointees. We have Kyle Marshall, myself, and want to nominate Bob Steinmates, Joe Cornwell, and Chad Fisher. Everyone okay with that?
Do we need to, you don't have to vote on it, he's just nominated.
It's still with council's approval.
Okay.
I mean, my thought is if somebody has an objection to, we could just one motion to accept. Or,
How do we do that on, you said we had to put some people on an alternate, like somebody starts out as a 1-year term and the other 2 other guys start as a 2-year term, or didn't you explain that to us?
right, but I don't know if I've got that. I know I don't have that with me. Do you remember which? whether
Yeah,
it's
it's a
2 and
1-year
1?
term, and then the other 2 are 2-year.
Okay. So,
So
Mark,
it'd be Joe Cornwell for the 1 year and the other 2 for the 2-year terms.
okay. So Chad's 2 and Bob's 2.
Yes.
And then are the council members just their council term?
Yes. Well, you could appoint the new council every year, I guess. I'm sorry, I didn't bring that with me. I didn't even think about it. But
That just starts tonight then, is that how we do that? For their year?
Yeah.
Is that correct, John?
Or- I'm asking, I guess.
plates tonight.
You can remember that though, because you usually do appointments when in May.
I don't. do
You done that
appointments.
on the, it's actually the first
When do I
meeting
get
of the
appointed?
year.
That's when you look at this.
So you can do it that, we're not that far off.
That's.
It should have been done last meeting, is when it should have been done.
All right, starting tonight.
But again, I guess I'm not opposed to doing one motion for the entire slate unless somebody objects to somebody.
Does anybody object to any of the names that we've put up for appointment? Okay, in that case, I'd entertain a motion to
So
approve.
I'll make a motion to approve Mark Bryant, Marshall Sanders, Kyle Bunker, Bob Steinmetz, Joe Cornwell, and Chad Fisher.
And then motion is Bob would serve the 2 years, Chad would serve 2 years, and Joe would serve the 1 year, so we can get the staggered terms started.
Yes.
Okay. Second. Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor? Raise your hand. Motion carries. All right. Unless there's any more business this evening, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor, raise your hand. Motion carries. Meeting adjourned.